have to wait and hold your questions to the end. So it's very interactive. I'm up here, and I volunteer to present because I can learn so much from you guys, just like I hope that we can help learn and show and share some of the things that we've been successful at with you guys. So as we go through this and as we're walking it through, if there's something that pops in your mind or you want to dive deeper into something like a slide we're on or a topic that we're in, just raise your hand or shout it out. I'm real open. I'm pretty easygoing. So look forward to connecting with you guys today, and thank you so much for having me. So as Mark said, I'm Andrew Androff. I'm with ProfessionalMovers.com, and we are the moving company that does things so positively different that we forever alter a customer's expectations for the better. And what do I mean by that? Well, it starts with the moment you contact our office. You see, when you call our office or when a customer calls our office, they get to talk or they talk to one of our moving consultants. And our moving consultant is there to basically answer questions and use their experience as a former mover themselves to help identify and plan for your move. And it starts by coming out to your home or your office and doing a survey and visiting with you and trying to fully understand exactly what's unique or different about your move. And that's different than a lot of our competitors. See, a lot of our competitors will just sit back and they'll answer a phone and they'll maybe answer some questions and they'll give you a ballpark price. But a lot is lost in translation over a phone conversation. So by physically coming out and doing a survey, and it's no charge, it's something that to us we feel is beneficial for the customers, but it's also beneficial to our team members because we're actually able to go in with a plan and knowing exactly what to expect before they arrive. So we'll come out, we'll visit any time. It could be mornings, afternoons, evenings, or weekends. We base that schedule around our customers' needs. We realize that a lot of our customers work during the day, so come in after hours or come in on the weekends if that's helpful for them. We want to adjust our schedule to make that work for them. Now, when our actual move consultant visits, their goal is to look at that move through the lens as when they were former movers, right? So as they're parking our vehicle, which they arrive in fully logoed vehicles when they arrive to your home, so you're dealing with a professional that you're letting in your home. When they visit, they're thinking about, okay, how closely can I park this truck to the front of your home? Are there any trees that are in the way of this driveway? Is this a new, freshly poured concrete driveway? Do I need to let the movers know not to park in it? These are things that go through their mind that over a simple phone conversation, you're just not going to think of. As we meet with the customer, we're walking through the home and we're already game planning, what pieces are going to offer some trouble. What are some things that we can recommend to that customer to make their lives easier? And a lot of times when customers have us into their home, they're really not ready to move at that moment. So we're able to kind of look at things as if a home were to be packed, or how to present that home on move day. So even though we walk into a kitchen and all those dishes are all neatly packed inside your cabinetry, that move consultant, because they've moved so many homes in the past, they can actually open a few cabinets, step back and say, you're going to have about 5 dish pack boxes here. And that helps the customer because the customer then doesn't have to struggle with trying to figure out how many boxes they need to pack or purchase at the store. Or if they want to make their lives real easy, they can purchase it through us and we'll drop it off to their house. We try and make the whole experience as easy and seamless as possible. Now, a lot of times when you're dealing with customers on their move, there's some stress points. We try to uncover what those stress points are when we're actually visiting with that customer. And we ask the right questions. We also are active listeners. Customers often want to share what that stress point is. And so for a lot of them, there happens to be 1 or 2 either family heirlooms or maybe something that they've moved in the past. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with a customer who's just had a negative experience with a move in general. And sharing that information, our move consultants are actively listening to hear what were the pain points of that previous experience that led them down the road to where they're calling us and not that same moving company that they were using before. So all those things are going through that move consultant's head. They're taking meticulous notes. Now, after we've walked through the home and we've identified everything that they want to move and we've recorded that list, we're then going back to our home office where we're building a move quote and we're taking all the notes, implementing them into the actual move quote and sending them back to the customer for the review. What you find with our estimates is that we think of what we would call the worst case scenario. So we've already pre-game planned all these problems that could arise for the move, and we've put that into an actual estimate so our customers can expect this is what it will cost to move you from your current home to your new location. And that estimate that our customers receive is extremely easy to understand and extremely well thought out and well explained. A lot of our competitors will share a quote with a customer, and it's filled with so much legal language, it's almost intimidating to really understand it. Our theory is that we want to share a move quote with you that's so simple that, really you could walk through it in a few minutes and just fully understand everything, and it includes you in the process. And what I mean by that, or an example of what I mean by that, is we'll actually show you on the move quote how long we think it'll take to load your truck, how long we think it'll take you to drive to your new location, and then how long we think it'll take to unload that truck. That's information that helps our customers really settle down and lose a little bit of the anxiety, because the biggest thing with moving is the unknown, right? So when the movers arrive and we've estimated that it takes 3 hours to load the house, that customer already knows that, okay, these guys should be loaded by noon. If the truck's loaded by 11:30, all right, we're good, we're ahead of schedule, we're doing great, right? So that there's certain built-in things, parameters that we put in to kind of help lower that anxiety level. Now, a promise made is only good if the promise is kept, right? So on move day, when those movers arrive, or before they arrive, that same move consultant that had built that moving quote and made all those promises and wrote all those meticulous notes, all that information, that same estimate that was shared with the customer and promised to the customer, is back at our home office, and before those movers leave to head to that home, they've sat down and had a team meeting in the morning before they've gone out, and that move consultant has sat with our team leader. We have a team leader on every job. That gentleman is basically a supervisor for that job, and his role or his responsibility is to take that move plan, all those promises, and make sure they're carried out on move day. So we have what we call a team leader. We have a mover who's working to become a team leader eventually, and we have a moving apprentice. And that's kind of how we segment our team members. Now when they arrive out to the job, this is what you can expect. They're going to be in full uniform. They wear the same shirt I'm wearing. If it's summer months, we do allow that they wear shorts as well, but they're fully branded. But we think of little things that most movers or most companies may not think of. So for instance, these gentlemen here are wearing Dickie pants. Well, most moving companies, if you've seen ads or if you've driven by your neighbor's house and seen someone moving, often you're going to see them in a t-shirt. Maybe they're all wearing different color t-shirts. So they don't look like they're a cohesive unit. But what you'll often find is people wearing jeans. We don't move in jeans. Jeans often have little rivets in them. And as you're carrying furniture, you may need to set pieces down. And those rivets are points that could actually damage furniture or scratch furniture. So little things like that we like to think ahead of to really separate us from the competition. Now it's move day, and the team leader who knows everything along with the team has arrived, and they're going to come into the house, introduce themselves, introduce the team. And the first thing they're going to talk to with the customer is say, Mrs. Smith, I'm well aware of your move. I understand you have a grandfather clock that you're very stressed out about. Just to let you know, we're going to pack that up right now. We're going to wrap it inside the home so you're very comfortable. We're going to take that piece of furniture and we're going to put it up in the nose of the truck, which is the safest part. So already they've addressed the biggest pain point that customer had, and they let them know that before they even started moving, that they were aware of the game plan going into the move, and then they can actually make that customer feel like, okay, I know what's going on. This guy, he's already arrived, but he already knows what gave me the biggest anxiety. Now before that actual piece of furniture starts moving out, the next thing you see is team members right behind that team leader laying out neoprene floor runners. So the same thing that you see like divers wear is going out on the floors to protect the floors. On the front doorway, you'll see a big padded moving blanket will be draped over the actual doorway and the threshold as well. So everything, it's not just about moving the furniture damage-free, but it's also about keeping the home in the same condition as it was before we actually arrived. Now, what we've walked you through right there is our process. And it's that whole process is built around our mission, and every decision we make and all the planning that we do is all based on our central idea that our goal or our mission is to be the moving company that you recommend to your friends, your family, your coworkers, your neighbors, and your social network. And if we do everything right, then we'll have achieved a happy customer who will then have shared the message, shared the brand, shared their experience, and hopefully turn that experience into 5 more experiences for their closest friends or network. So what we do is we really think about all the touch points along the way. Starting out with the website, a lot of customers are going to be up at night thinking about their move, planning for a move, and they're looking for resources. Often, obviously, daytime hours, we're at work, we can't really get online, and we don't have the freedom to search for the answers we need. But at home, we're on our phones and looking at different things, and our actual website in and of itself is extremely informative. It's filled with all kinds of great, insightful information in regards to moving. So a lot of our customers will go there and just basically use it as a resource guide. And that kind of goes back to like doing things differently. Back in like 2009, we kind of put the time to think about how we can get our name out there more, how we could brand more. And the company had actually existed as the name Professional Movers Incorporated. And in 2009, we acquired ProfessionalMovers.com, which was a very big boom for our business. It's kind of a side story. I'll kind of tell you about how we acquired that. It was actually owned by a gentleman who owned hundreds and hundreds of very generic domains. And I remember back in 2005 is kind of when we started that we really wanted to acquire that. And we would send out an email message, hey, are you interested in selling this domain? If you are, please let me know. And more often than not, it was, no, thank you. Appreciate you asking, but we're happy. And the website at the time was basically just being used for ad traffic. In 2008, he actually responded to that email, I think I'm ready to sell. And I was beyond excited. And of course, the next question you ask is how much, right? And so when he shot the number back, I kind of sat back in my seat, and I was thinking, there's no way. I'm in business with my brother. My brother's my partner, right? So he's a co-owner with me. And I'm thinking, I want this really bad, but there's just no way I'm going to be able to sell my brother on this price point. And so the odd thing or the scary thing about it was, we broke it down, we looked at it, and we thought, okay, if we own this name, this generic domain, how many people can find us based on our brand right now? We were a growing brand at the time, but we certainly weren't like, a household name. Like if I asked you to name 3 moving companies, you could probably name some competitors out there, but maybe our name wasn't ringing up on the tip of your tongue. Hopefully after this conversation it will, but basically we kind of broke down, well, if you have the name Professional Movers as a generic name, how much more traffic is that worth, right? How many more customers can we capture just by a generic search of professional movers, which is huge. So we looked at it and we thought, okay, we're going to do this. And so the scary thing about the whole purchase or the acquisition of that was the actual gentleman who owned it lived in the Cayman Islands. The company that was brokering the deal was from Vancouver. The escrow company that the funds were coming from were in Ohio. Like this basically, it sounded like those emails you get where a guy says, I'm from overseas and send me $5 and you'll get $1 million, right? It sounded just like that. So I just remember like going through all my due diligence and even like, having gone through every possible way to research and find out that this was a legit thing and we really were purchasing the right thing and it was going to be a done deal. There was still that hesitation in my gut because it was kind of one of those things like, okay, my brother was on my side, we're doing it, we're going for it, we're paying this amount of money, but are you really sure? I don't know. Anyway, long story short, we did acquire it. It was a good, successful transaction, and we spent a good 8 to 10 months just developing this website. And now we're actually excited because in another few months we're actually rolling out a major update on it. But for the last X amount of years, it's really been a big growth burst in our company just being able to have such a generic domain. And we've even switched our company name now to ProfessionalMovers.com. And our thought process with that is, throughout the country there are other professional movers or people who act or operate under those that type of name, either Professional Movers of California, but there really is only one ProfessionalMovers.com. So our goal is to build on a brand that's a strong foundation, and we've trademarked it now. We've trademarked our logo and some other things that we feel is going to set us up for success in the future. So second touch point is getting into like knowledgeable moving consultants. Like I mentioned before, all of our moving consultants actually start off as movers. Actually started off as moving apprentices, worked their way as movers, became team leaders, and then became moving consultants. So we've created a path for success. And as we get later on, I'll talk about how we've created a path for success even beyond the moving consultant position. Because that's the thing with our industry, is that a lot of our competitors, well, a lot of just movers in general, it's not a career type based position, right? You tend to time out after a certain amount of years. You don't want to be moving furniture. Your body just physically can't handle it. So what we've tried to do is create a way for our team members to actually grow within our organization. And that's really helped us out along the way, because we've retained a lot of knowledge, we've retained a lot of experience, and that's only led to better experiences for our customers to have that kind of knowledge on our side. Intelligent, friendly movers. When I talk about our team members, when we talk about movers in general, if you think about, public's perception of what a mover is, it's unfortunate because people tend to just kind of think of it as like a labor position, and they don't equate it to the real knowledge and the real intelligence that's needed to actually hold that position. The reality is to take a piece of furniture and be able to move it into a position, to get it through a doorway, and to know which way to position that piece of furniture so you can get those legs through the door in a tight spot that, without damaging something. It takes a lot of skill. It takes a lot of time to learn that. So when I talk about our team members, when I talk about our movers, they're very, very intelligent. They're very, very friendly. It's a terminology, or it's a way to describe movers that you often don't find, but that is how we refer to all of our team members, how intelligent they are. I think that's probably one of the best descriptive ways I can actually, share about when I talk, describe them. So the final thing is all about doing the right thing. And Mark was nice enough to mention that we were featured in a customer service book, Who's Your Gladys? And that was actually a national best-selling book, and a couple of local authors had heard about an experience we had. And I think starting off here with introductions, you had mentioned that you work for a senior community, right? So what was that community name? Mary Haven. Okay, great. Well, a good chunk of our business is actually the senior community. And we had moved a woman, and her name was Gladys. And that ended up being the name of the book, was about our customer. And when we moved Gladys, we had actually moved her marble table. And unfortunately, all those great processes that we had described and all the wrapping of the furniture, well, on her move, an accident happened. And that table got damaged. Come on in. But the reality was that it didn't matter that the furniture was damaged, as long as we did the right thing and we fixed it. But just to kind of pull back the curtains a little bit about the moving industry, most people don't understand, or most people aren't clearly explained how valuation or moving insurance works. So when a damage happens, what the liability that the mover is responsible for. One of the things that we try to do when we have that consultation at the home is to really, really hammer home and explain how that process works, because we want our customers to really know the risks going into a move and the risks that the liability that the mover is responsible for. A lot of movers tend to just kind of gloss over that. And it's kind of a simple thing to understand. Like, I can explain it to you real quickly. Mover's liability, it's in Michigan, a standard mover's liability is 60 cents per pound per article. So you take the weight of whatever good you're trying to move, multiply that weight by 60 cents, and that is the true value or the liability that a mover is responsible for. So for example, like a 300-pound table times 60 cents is worth 180 bucks, right? That's the liability that we would be exposed to. On that marble table, it's certainly worth a lot more than $180, right? Well, we go beyond our liability to help our customers out, because at the end of the day, we want that customer to have a good experience. And if everything went well, but we left her with a table that is no longer functional, she's going to have a big hole in that living room that she's going to be very upset about, right? And every conversation and every time she sits down and sees that scratch or that nicked up table, it's going to remind her of that moving company that gave her that bad experience. So Gladys was a senior. She lived in the community, senior community right up the road. She didn't have a car. She couldn't drive anymore. We actually came by and we picked her up in one of our vans. We drove her to a marble shop, picked out a new piece of marble, picked up that marble, brought it back, and fixed it. We didn't make any money on that job. We lost lots of money on that job. But what we did gain was a customer who had such a positive experience that she actually shared that story over and over and over again while she sat at the lunch table at her new senior community, right? So Gladys has become somewhat of a rallying call for, doing the right thing. And at the end of the day, I can't tell you how many customers we've gained from turning a bad experience, or excuse me, a tough experience like a broken piece of furniture, into doing the right thing and turning those customers into some of our biggest fans and some of our biggest, brand ambassadors. So let's jump into some fun stuff. It's always important, like when you meet people, to do business cards, right? Well, one of the things that we do differently is, and I'll hand out a few. Pass them down, I guess. Sorry. Our business card is a little box, and it's sorry. And so we always jokingly say every business card comes with a free moving box. Oops, sorry. You can't fit much in it, but it's the cool thing is it is relatable to our business, right? It becomes something that often sits on our customers' desks. Sometimes, yeah. And so, so it's a cool leave behind. A lot of times our moving consultants always share the story that before they even get back to our office, that sometimes a customer will send an email back just saying, hey, I loved your card. We thought it was creative. It's just a touch point where we can just be a little bit different than everyone else out there. This is another example of being different. One of the cool things about our business is we talked about like that experience or that process story I shared with you is about a residential customer, right? So we went to their home. Well, one of the cool things is that the whole other side of our business is office moving. And so we get to see some really, really cool spaces. And we've moved some of these top organizations, whether it's tech companies or some of the Fortune 5s locally in our market, automotives. We've been inside their spaces. And these are big organizations with big money that they really care about culture. They really care about employee retention. And a lot of the things that we have witnessed in their spaces, we've tried to adopt and utilize in our own small campaigns. And this is one that we worked on where if you've ever been inside a company's office and you see mottos or manifestos or positive sayings, our movers obviously don't work inside an office, right? To our movers, the inside of a moving truck is the office, right? So that is our opportunity to actually have a captive audience of our team members and to boost them up with some positivity and to remind them of like why we do things and why they're special. So I'll just read this real quick. This is at the front of the truck. So this is where you load the first pieces of furniture, and at the end of the move, when you're all done, this is where the last piece of furniture comes off. So the fist bump finish, obviously. So when our movers are like, right at the end, they're pretty excited. They're happy to be done. They're going home. They're fist bumping each other. But the actual saying itself is the greatest feeling of accomplishment is moving that final piece of furniture and being successful at something that most are not. And that is the core of our team members, is their pride in what they do and their ability to do something that a lot of times other people can't. And that's what we're called on to do. We're moving furniture that if a customer could do it themselves, or they had the time, or they had the physical abilities to do it, they maybe would. But that is what separates our team members, and that's what gives them that internal pride. Now, the cool thing about this saying is this was actually coined by our team members. So Tom, you're part of the Goldman Sachs program. A quick segment of what that program is. Basically, it's a program for business owners. You take about 3 months or 4 months? I can't remember.
3 months, yeah.
3 months, and you do a deep dive in your business. And the goal is for you to have like a 5-year plan, essentially, at the end of those 3 months of the direction that your company is going in. and really bring in a lot of experts, whether it's a marketing expert and a finance expert, and you really kind of get to dissect your business and really fully focus on your business for those months. Well, one of the things I was working on was a growth strategy of where we want to go and how do we take what we have that's going really well and open up other offices. Well, to standardize it, we wanted to have a manifesto or something that our team members can kind of always be like the directional navigation for what we're always trying to achieve. And so we created a company manifesto, and what we did was we actually went out to team members, we gave them surveys, we gave them questions, we asked them, what do you like about working here? What do you not like about working here? What is something positive that you could say about the company? What is something negative you could say about the company? We compiled all this information. And this one little saying is a small chunk of that. And we took that and we basically created a full company manifesto that now hangs in our office and actually is going to be a big part of our new website update. But it's just like one of those things that just kind of really resets us and makes us know that stay focused on what our end goal is, which is that mission statement of being the company that that you can recommend to your friends and family. If we're doing all those things right, then we know that we're steering the ship in the right direction and we're all rolling the same way. So one of the big things that we see in our industry is turnover. It's hard to find people that want to move, and there's a lot of opportunity out there right now. Last year we had some serious challenges last year because the economy was going so strong. You know, when we take team members, we build them up from a moving apprentice role all the way up, you know, into a team leader role. One of the things I'm proud to say about our organization is we do pay well for these positions. So our team members do really well on average in terms of comparing it to other moving companies. Not only that, but all of our team members are actual employees for us. So we don't have 1099s that work for us. All of our team members are actual full employees. So they have opportunities for benefits, free lunch every Wednesdays. We do all these different things that are unique or different to what most moving companies would do. That being said, there's always challenges. And like I said, last year we had a challenging year because we actually lost a good chunk of team members who were grabbed by the next industries that were booming, which at the time and still is, it's construction. They're coming in, grabbing our team members, and they were pulling them into higher wage levels. Well, we're happy for those team members because it's an opportunity for them to go on and make more money and be successful. So it's never a situation like, personally, yes, it's tough because you lose such good talent, but there's also really good feeling that those team members are going on, they're bettering themselves, they're putting themselves in a better position, and the reality is they've came through the system, through the professional mover system. They're future ambassadors somewhere else, so they're working somewhere else, and they've had good experiences working with us, and hopefully that manifests itself into spreading that brand awareness. But it's go ahead, Tom.
Well, I'd actually comment. That's something I've dealt with myself, and I've had people. My friend makes triple what he made working for me, and I still call him my friend, and I wished him well. He felt awkward when he left, but I don't understand people who don't get mad at their employees for that. I'm like, the guy is seeking opportunity. He had some skill sets that I wasn't utilizing that they paid him for. So I say, you know what, Joe? You should take that job. As I don't want you to as a business owner, but as a friend, dude, you're gonna make triple.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but I gotta get up earlier. I'm like, yeah.
Well, we have. I mean, and that's a perfect example. And I think that's the mindset that you want the best things for your people. And if they have an opportunity that's out there, we certainly wish them well, and we want to put them in position, and we're happy to give that reference letter. Obviously, it's sad that we're losing them, but that door is always open. If you had a great experience with our organization, you did a great job for us, hey, you're always welcome back. And we see that even now, like the following week, we're doing our fantasy football draft for the company, and like a handful of those team members that are coming in that are on the employee draft are actual former team members. So that's the relationship that we had. These guys are coming back, but those are also the people that are out there, and they're going into the next career stage of their life, and they're the ones that are saying, oh yeah, you're moving? Oh, I used to work professional movers. You got to call these guys. They're great. So they're out there just, continuing their career path, but at the same time, they're helping pull us up too. So we created this incentive program because we identified ways or different parts of our business that were challenging, and we wanted to reward team members to do things that help solve those type of problems. So simple things like, are we getting to the job site on time? Can we incentivize that so we make sure that our customers have a better experience by our team members arriving when we say we're going to arrive? So it's a point-based system. So each team member gets a certain amount of points for certain things, and being on time is just one of them. Being in uniform is another. Positive reviews from customers. There's just measure points or key performance indicators that we kind of think about that really drive our business or put us in a good position. And so what we try to do is build those into an incentive package that makes the team members want to respond to that or want to have a goal to try and achieve those positive points. And then if they do, the leading team member, the leading mover, the leading moving apprentice then are rewarded at the end of the month. And it's either monetary, which obviously everyone likes to get some extra money in their pocket at the end of the month, but also there's bragging rights with it, which is often what we find to be the most fun that comes out of the whole incentive program. So whether it be you're parking in a special parking spot for the month, or you're recognized as the mover of the month, like those type of things become something that our team members often jokingly have a lot of playful banter amongst each other. What we're actually thinking now, if any of you are like fans of, or were fans of wrestling, they've got the big wrestling belts. So we're actually going to create a wrestling belt that it will say Mover of the Month, and that mover will be able to hoist that belt up every month, and they'll go on our Instagram page. So there comes a lot of bragging rights with that. So what we see is that it's taken the top performers who have always performed well, and it's kept them focused, but it's taken the performers who are maybe in the bottom or the middle, and it's made them more competitive and brought them up. So it's fun to see different people make the top of that list every month. If it's the same person every month, but to see the competitive spirit really kind of rise, it's fun. And I think I mentioned increased reviews. That was one of the driving forces of it. Is our reviews are very important in our industry. So many people go online because they want to work with someone that they trust. First, you'll go to a friend, right? You'll go to a neighbor. You'll find out. Beyond that, you'll want to actually research your company. You go online, and there's a whole host of different ways, whether it's Google or Yelp. But what we try to do is we don't actively pursue reviews, so we don't have thousands of reviews. But what we do have is very authentic, organic reviews that are made by customers who, felt the need to share that experience. And what's cool is that they actually mention the actual movers who actually perform the work. That's kind of cool. One of the things that we always like to do is, I'm a marketing guy. I love the marketing aspect of things, but I can't be everywhere, right? So it's really hard for me to kind of capture as much opportunity to boost that brand out there as much as possible. But with the incentive program, one of the things that we made worth points are our team members submitting photos of themselves in the field. And it's led to some really cool creative posts. So this was like a Halloween post. He was actually moving a customer, and the customers had a box of like Halloween stuff, and he asked the customer if he could put on the chicken suit. And they said absolutely. Customer actually took the photo. That became a Halloween post. That was like I don't know if it's a bearskin rug or whatever that is, but basically like that was Valentine's Day. Well, that's one of our team members asked if he could lay across it and make a post for Valentine's Day. It's one of our intelligent movers moving a dummy. Obviously The Rock. But yeah, so what happens was like, I couldn't be there to take these photos, but these are moments that the guys are capturing that are really worth a ton, right? Because it's like, this is gold for like a marketing guy, like to actually have photos like this of like authentic, real movers doing things and smiling and enjoying themselves. It not only becomes something that's great for the customer, but it also becomes like the next wave of attracting talent, right? Because who would want to work in an organization that's actually enjoying themselves and having a good time?
I have to ask, what's the angel wings of the wings?
That's actually, so we do a lot of work in Detroit, and that is an artistic wall in the city, and our movers just thought it was kind of clever to sit there. Yeah, thanks.
It's an Eastern Market
Is that one?
There's a few of them. I'm not sure. I forget where that one's at. But
Yeah, that one might be an Easter mark, but I'm not sure which one. That one might be in the belt too. I don't know. But yeah, so.
Yeah.
Andrew,
Yes.
one of my friends who has moved a lot, she says if you move every 7 years, you never collect things.
There's some truth to that. There's some truth to that. 'Cause I can't tell you how many times we'll move someone and it might be 20 years and there's boxes that were packed from 20 years ago still in the basement and there's dust on them now. So yeah, that's pretty good advice. And we highly recommend you move as much as possible.
That could be a promotion.
Yeah, right.
Move every 7 years.
That's right. Okay, so how about new opportunities, like thinking about things that can help promote your business? In 2011, Mr. Gilbert had acquired his first building in Detroit, the Madison building. And I remember a small little blurb in the Crane's business that was talking about how the plan was to purchase this one building and attract almost like an incubator environment of small startups and tech companies. And I remember thinking, that's a really good opportunity, and if that really catches hold, this could be something that would be really big for the city. And the first tenant that he was moving in was a place called Skidmore Studio. It was a marketing firm out of Royal Oak. And so we approached Skidmore Studio, and we shared with them that we were interested in being the mover of choice on this move. And our thought was, we need to come up with a way that we can incentivize other people to make moves to Detroit as well. So we came up with what we call the Detroit Moving Incentive Package, or Detroit Moving Incentive Program. And what it was is it's a way to patronize both businesses who've moved back to the city and residents who decide to move back to the city or move within the city. And so what we did was created this program, and it included free boxes, it included move consultation, it included a discount off your moving services. And the idea was that what we wanted to do was be on the front end of things and become that mover of Detroit, or mover of this renaissance. And so we end up landing the account for Skidmore Studio. And I guess, long story short, we're actually moving them again now. They're moving to their second location in Detroit in a few weeks. But at the time, it was the first major move back to the city by a company, and we got to spearhead that. We got to be part of that renaissance. But what that led to was they had such a positive experience that they again shared that story, that Detroit Movement Incentive story, with other businesses in this city. We then became one of the movers of choice for Quicken Loans and Bedrock and some of the bigger organizations. It actually led to us opening an office in the city. So this was our second office. We started in Walled Lake. We then opened an office in Detroit. And that allowed us to get into a brand new market, which then led to, within the first year, we added 2 new trucks to kind of get that market going. We, of course, hired new people. We had an increase in revenue. And we owe a lot of our growth over the last 5 years to the city of Detroit because of that renaissance and so much activity that's going on down there. And it's opened us up to so many opportunities. And we basically, we say that, when you look at like how many people we've moved to the city, how many businesses we've moved to the city, over the span of our actual business existence, we've moved more people in the last 7 years than we had combined in the previous 34. So it's been a really, really huge part of our business, and we're very, very grateful that there's such a resurgence going on, and we're able to kind of use our business and our moving services to help patronize and to help continue that positive activity that's going on in the city. So Detroit was our first market that we kind of expanded into. More recently, going back in, I think it was April, we actually launched our third office in Rochester on the campus of Oakland University. And this is kind of different and unique because no other moving company is actually on a campus. We actually partnered with OU Inc., or OU Incubator. It's a startup, basically an incubation location that basically the idea is for startup and tech companies to have an environment where they can evolve and they can work with each other in a very cohesive way to try and grow the businesses and the owners and the startup founders can kind of offer advice and help with each other to try and grow their businesses together. We actually approached OU. I actually went to Oakland University. I'm a former alumni. Go Grizzly! If any of you guys are Grizzlies. We also are the mover of choice for Oakland University, so that's one of our contracts. And when we had read about this incubator that was opening up, we really wanted to be part of it. But the criteria for being part of it was that you need to be a tech company. Well, we're not a tech company technically, but we do things that are so different that we do have we have a segment of our business that actually is very technical. And I'll get into it later, so I won't share it now. But as we get on, we'll talk about different ways that that our company has grown beyond it just being providing moving services. But this is about entering new markets and finding ways to enter new markets in ways that generally are less expensive, less barriers to entry. So like if I had to go out and lease a building in Rochester to actually field with team members and put trucks there, it would cost me a lot of money. And it would work, in terms of like there's the business that's there to make it possible, but the investment to bring it to be a reality would be like a 4 to 5 year plan to make it happen. But by looking at different markets and ways how you can get your business into that market at a very low barriers to entry, this is one way that we were able to expand. And I would highly recommend any of you that have businesses that you're looking to maybe open a second location, and if you're able to, check out the startup incubator space, because a lot of times your knowledge to them as a business owner is extremely valuable, and having you take an office or a shared space within that environment is something that's it's a benefit for you, right? Because you can get your brand into a new market, but also for them because you're bringing in your experiences that you've had and being able to share that with other entrepreneurs that are within that space. So this was just a cool way that we were able to get into a new market without having a huge outlay of capital initially. Community involvement is so key. When you work within now 3 markets, we're trying to amplify that message, and we're trying to get out into the community and do more than what we, we're there to obviously provide moving services, right? But our moving services and our trucks and our people can offer so much more that are in line with actually having trucks, right? So if you have trucks, how can you utilize the trucks, or how can you utilize things in your business to help those around you? And so we've done that through different capacities. We're very aware of the diverse groups that we serve. One of that is the LGBT community. And our LGBT community is probably one of our strongest allies in terms of being brand ambassadors for our organization. And we're very strong in helping support the community and do different things, whether it's volunteering or taking space at different pride walks, or we've got team members that work for us that are part of the LGBT community. This is just one way that we've kind of branched out into the community and done things that are different. Most moving companies tend to kind of just look at things through one tunnel, whereas we try to open it up and look at each of our different segments of customers and try to address each one with its own unique message, with its own unique concerns, and understanding what challenges they may have. I mean, if you think of movers, and you think how, like, the common perception, how rough and gruff they are, and the language that's used, the LGBT community has had challenges in the past. We don't want that to be another challenge. Oh gosh, I'm having guys that are coming into my home, and and you have to make a concern because of the lifestyle choices you choose. So we want that to that shouldn't even be a discussion point. We're here to move you. We're here to offer professional service. So our team members are extremely open to our brand model of we're very inclusive. Our services are for everyone. TouchATruck, these are events where we were able to take our truck out into the community and actually let little kids kind of climb up and do different things and see what it's like to actually be a mover. And what we've actually done now is like we'll go out to an event and we've ran like little small, I don't have any pictures, but you can see these little guys are wearing Professional Movers t-shirts. So what we do is we invite them into the truck. We have an empty box at the back of the truck, and we ask them if they can carry the empty box to the front of the truck. They've officially graduated moving school, and they've earned a Professional Movers t-shirt. This is cool. This is about community, but how this idea kind of sparked is I went into our t-shirt supplier where we order our t-shirts, and the gentleman had boxes and boxes of little kids t-shirts that had misordered, and he's like, I was talking to him. I always ask him, hey, what's going on? You got any good deals? What's happening? And he's like, yeah, no, I don't have any good deals unless you need these kid t-shirts. Like, I ordered these things by accident. I'm like, well, yeah, I guess. I'm like, you can put our logo on them. Maybe we can give them away to like, kids that, parents that were moving or whatever. He's like, yeah, I'll give you a great deal. So we end up with these boxes of kids t-shirts. And then coincidentally enough, like it was literally a week later, I'm like, TouchATruck. I'm like, maybe we take those t-shirts and we can probably like do something with them where little kids can kind of become a professional mover. And it was a huge hit. Like we went through a bunch of t-shirts, and actually kids went home and like family members called up and they're like, oh, my cousin saw it, can they get one? And so it ended up becoming like a really cool thing. And you'll see like, it's really neat when you see on social media, like you're looking on and like a family friend of a friend of a friend has got, they're at the zoo and they're wearing a Professional Movers t-shirt. So it's really neat branding at a very inexpensive cost. Parades, that's another thing. Our trucks are billboards, right? So like driving down the street, it's great to get that name brand awareness out there. But walking through parades it's fun. I mean, who doesn't like handing out candy to people and being excited? But like it's one of those things where you get a lot of volunteers who want to assist with you. So like we get a lot of times when we do our parade walks, we'll have our own team members, our team members' family. It's just one of those things that it's often inexpensive, doesn't cost anything to be a part of a parade, but it's great brand awareness, and it's just another outlet to local communities to kind of get your name out there. Community canned food drives. All right, so this is like a really, really big part of our business, a really big part of our community drives. We've done work with local schools and local school districts to collect canned goods that go towards the needy. This one in particular, last year we were able to collect over 20,000 canned goods. It was a massive effort. The idea is that we have the trucks and we have the team members, right? So why not utilize them in a way that just makes sense? There's off hours where a job gets done early, and if we can offer a move team for 2 to 3 hours to pick up some canned goods from a major collection center and help get them to a hospitality house, then it's good for the community. It's good for everyone. We started this a few years back. Now we work with a whole host of organizations, Goodfellows being one of them. One of the biggest ones that we've been part of is called Move for Hunger, if you're familiar with that. But basically, the idea is if we're going to move someone and they're moving to a new home, but they don't want to take their perishable goods with them, we'll give them a free moving box. They could pack those goods up, or we'll pack those goods up. And at the time of estimate, we'll leave with those goods, and they'll go right to a local food bank. Or on their move day, if they've packed up their home and they've left a few things that they just don't want to take with them, or they're moving across state lines where they just can't take perishable goods with them, we'll take that box and we'll take that to a local food bank. So it's utilizing what's within our touch points as a moving business and doing good things for it. So this has been a really cool way to have a positive impact. This other one, I'm sure you guys heard of the Flint water crisis. There was a big push in our market. There was some local mothers who, as soon as the water crisis had started, they wanted to organize a local a local water drop or water collection, and they had reached out to other businesses about actually offering to get water or to collect water, and we actually said, well, we'll do one better. we'll turn our warehouse into a local donation center. We could send everything here. We'll collect and compile it, and then we'll use our move trucks to help get it up to Flint. And it happened so fast. We cleared space, we got signs up, we started promoting it. We became like a distribution or exception center. And when it was all said and done, in 1 week's time, we filled 2 semis and a straight truck. 49,000 pounds of water were collected. And again, it goes back to utilizing what you have to help the community. So we already had the warehouse, right? We already had the moving trucks. It was just the right thing to do. Painted pianos, this is a really cool one. This goes back to Goldman Sachs program. I don't mean to harp on that so much, but it really was a really good experience. So if any of you have questions about that program, I'm happy to share with you, because one of the things that is that we've built relationships with other business owners, and we've taken whatever synergies we might have to help find things. And one of the people that is part of the group, his name is Jason, and he owns Detroit School of Rock and Pop Music. And he had come up with this idea of wanting to take pianos and put them in public spaces in the city of Royal Oak. And the cool thing when you own a moving company is that you tend to get things gifted to you for free that people don't often want. And surprisingly enough, pianos are one of them. So a lot of people just don't want to move the piano to their new house. They just want us to get rid of it. So throughout the year, we always compile and collect these pianos, and we hold on to them. They come back to our warehouse, where eventually in May, we host a community paint party where people from the community will come in and they'll paint the pianos. Now the pianos are painted with different themes of positivity, or basically there's a handful of selected themes. The community works together, so this isn't done by professional painters. Obviously, we encourage professional painters if you want to come, but this is kids, parents, anyone who wants to partake and be part of this. So we create the pianos, we paint them all, and then at the beginning of, the end of May, we then deliver these pianos on public spaces throughout the streets of Royal Oak. And this year we've actually expanded and now have gone into Birmingham. But it has been really cool because these pianos become like a central focus point for the community. So they become a meeting space, a gathering area where people will actually sit down and play the piano, or maybe they won't even play the piano, but they'll sit on the bench because it's comfortable. Next thing you know, a dialogue started, and it just becomes like an area of community. So this is kind of another example of just utilizing what we do within our services to try and do better things for other people. Now we're in our 3rd year. So this is about looking for bigger brand partnerships, endorsements, board opportunities. So the picture on the left, if you could see, is Swiffer. Swiffer wipes are probably all familiar with them, right? Big brand. Well, often what happens is when a customer moves, they pick up their house and they've got dust under their bed, and they've got, areas that they haven't seen since they moved in the home, so they need a little bit of a cleaning. Well, we had an idea that if we can partner with Swiffer, or if we could partner with a brand like Swiffer, maybe we can get some giveaways that we can give to our customers that could help them as well. So we reached out to Swiffer. We ended up getting connected with a local marketing arm. They had a brand promotion where they had a new Swiffer hand wiper that they were trying to get into the market, and we were the perfect moving company to actually get that out for free as a free giveaway. So we got boxes and boxes and boxes of these Swiffer wipes. And so what we did was we actually turned them into just giveaways to our customers. So when we came out and did a walkthrough of the house, we'd finish it up and say, hey, by the way, here's a free Swiffer wipe. If you can use this, you don't have to use this, but at the end of the day, when we move that couch, you can Swiffer underneath it, and it's yours for free. And it became like a really nice incentive, and it didn't cost us anything. So it was just an added value that we were able to provide our customers, but at the same time, there's also that other part where you're taking a brand or local brand of professional movers, and you're pairing it with a very nationally well-known brand. And so there's a lot, behind the scenes, there's a lot of marketing strategy in terms of just getting your brand on par or next to a super brand, it really kind of amplifies and makes your brand so much stronger as well.
Was there any brand partnerships that you thought would work that just said no or it didn't work, or is there some fun story in there you'd be able to share?
Of not working, I haven't had one that was not working. I have ones that that I really want to do, like that I'm really, really excited about, that I know would work. But the problem is that like I don't want to come out too early and say it, because I know that if someone had excuse me, we work on a very shoestring budget, so a lot of the stuff that I'm sharing with you guys, stuff anyone can implement. But there's this thing that we want to do with some local sports organizations that I'm afraid to talk about, because I know that there's other moving companies who could maybe act on that with bigger budgets than I could. So there's things that I really want, and it just kills me every time I see when I see the events on TV, and I'm like, oh, I really want to do this, and I've got this great idea, but so we're buying our time, but eventually we're gonna.
What was the best advice? So I wouldn't even know who to contact at a large company like that. How do you just call someone?
We started through the normal customer service and worked our way through. Okay, well, who does your marketing locally? Do you work with any events? And I can't remember if we tracked it down that way, or if we actually went and saw that at another vendor event where people were giving those away, and then we chased that down to a lead to a local marketing arm. And then that marketing arm was like, yeah, heck yeah, you're a moving company. Yeah, we can get rid of these, to so many more people. So it was a perfect fit.
Yeah, I've had trouble chasing brands before that I think would be good to work with, and figuring out people that just don't reply to email and things like that.
Yeah.
Am I just too small? You notice, but I think we have a good idea. We could work together.
Well, and you know what though? That's so true. But I can't tell you how many times the door's been slammed in my face, over and over, or an email's not been answered. But it's I don't know. If I'm like Nemo, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'll forget about that and I'll move on to the next one. And just keep going, because it's his numbers game. Yeah. Hey.
I was just gonna say, because Tom was asking about who do you contact.
Yeah.
So I also work on a very shoestring budget, but I also work in PR, so I have some tricks and trades. And if you use Contact Out, it works as a plug-in. It works with your LinkedIn.
Okay.
It scrapes the internet. It will give you, look for marketing of director always.
Oh.
Look for that person, because that's who's making the decisions mostly. And you can go to Contact Out, you can scrape the internet, get that person's direct, their professional email, and reach out that way. They know that you're reaching out to the right person. You don't sound super gimmicky, because you already have your pitch. You know what you need to say. If it takes longer than 30 seconds to read, it's too long.
Yep.
A lot of times you can snatch them up that way.
Yeah, that's good.
Go to that organization.
Did you write that? That's awesome.
So go to Contact Out, go to that director of marketing, pull that person, and then reach out to them.
Yeah, that's a gem. That's good. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's awesome.
See, like you said, we're all learning.
Yeah, no, and that's why I hate it when people are like, oh, hold your questions to the end. Well, it's no, that's irrelevant now. Let's talk about that now. That's awesome. Thank you. Local celebrities, we all have, people around us. I consider you a local celebrity. I don't know if I'm sure you guys. Yeah, exactly. Well, the videos that you take are awesome. Yeah. So it's like my kids are always on YouTube, and they're like, oh, this guy's on YouTube. You're my YouTube celebrity. So
kids are watching gaming videos, though.
Yeah, right. But finding those local celebrities and maybe utilizing your business or making them an offer in exchange for them becoming an ambassador for your brand. In the upper right, that's Karen Newman. She was well known as the head singer for Red Wing Games. Yeah, so we had moved her, and now moved her a few times, and she was nice enough to actually film a video about our moving services, and endorsed us for having done a good job. But that was a simple situation where, she's someone that's well known and can amplify our message, and working with someone like that, and whether it be, what can we offer as a moving company to give her experience that's so positive that she would be willing to do that. Those opportunities are out there for all of us. Just finding that customer and who would make your brand resonate really well. Those opportunities are out there. Bottom left, industry boards. For our industry, the Michigan Movers Association is our industry board for our state. AMSA is industry board for the country. If you have an industry board, what I recommend is get involved, because a couple reasons. One, you're going to meet other business owners that are in the same environment as you, in the same industry as you, and although you're competitors, at the same time, you do become, some of my best friendships are people that are in the moving industry, and some of the best knowledge and mentors I have are within the moving industry. And I started on the board, excuse me, I started in the organization or joined the organization years ago, and I kind of worked my way up. And it was like a 15-year process or maybe longer, but this past year I was elected president of the Michigan Movers Association in Michigan, which is great on many levels. Like I said, the friendships that you develop, the mentorship that you develop with other owners in your industry, but also there's certain credibility in terms of when you're on the board, you can try and help set the agenda to try and do the things that are right, that are good for the consumer and good for the industry as a whole. And so by volunteering on boards like that, you're able to kind of help steer the direction and put your industry in a better light, and be a kind of on the leading edge of it, as opposed to kind of sitting back and kind of letting the industry kind of just evolve naturally itself. Bottom right is just partnerships. We always look for different teams of realtors. Obviously, you got a great team. I think your slogan. You got a great team. And there was a home inspector over here, right? So like we look for partnerships with people within our industry, and we do things to help promote that partner, both with their services and with ours. So for example, like this one is a partnership with Jeff Glover. We've created an incentive package, so every time that he'll list a home with somebody, they have an incentive to move with us because they'll get free boxes, they'll get free move consultation, they'll get guaranteed move dates when dates are blocked out. So those are things that we reach out and we try and connect with people within our industry. And all of you can think of certain ways to do that. But through our partnerships, we've built landing pages on our website that are specific to those partners. So they're benefits that would be exclusive to like what you'd be offering your clients. So it wouldn't be different than what someone else is offering. So it's just an extra thing that gives you an extra sales tool. So when you're selling a home, you say, oh, by the way, if you're considering hiring a moving company, if you work with this company because you came through me, they get a discount on this, or you get some free boxes, or you'll get a guaranteed move date where most movers will say, no, you're fully booked. So we try and find that's ways that we can extend our brand, partnering with someone who's also got a positive image in the community, and then just kind of growing the businesses together. This is a fun campaign we have. We love social media, Facebook, Instagram, all those ones. This is one we did where the big Powerball was worth $1 billion, whatever it was. It was something ridiculous, right? So we took a picture with a lotto ticket with some pretty strong branding in the background, and then we shared it, and the share was essentially like this post, share this post, and you become equal shareholders in this potential winning ticket. And what was fun about it was that it got shared and liked multiple times. I don't remember the volume, but it was over the thousands. But it was kind of fun. It's right. This is an inexpensive way to get your brand out there without actually having to invest a huge amount of money. It's a fun way to do it, and who doesn't want to like go to bed thinking about if that ticket's a winning ticket or not, right? So like, it's almost more fun, thinking about all the things that the potential of what a winning ticket could unfold, right? Or all the things you do with all that money. But this is just one that any of you can do through your own social media sites that got a lot of traction for us, and it cost us the $2 in the ticket. We didn't win, unfortunately. But yeah, right. Exactly. The mascot effect. This is probably one of our more fun shoestring budget marketing campaigns. So we were up one night and we're like, okay, we're going to the Tigers game. How can we get our brand out there, and how can we do something that would be really fun but inexpensive and capitalize on having a very densely populated amount of people to get that brand message out? So we went and rented 2 mascots costumes. we got a couple of our team members to volunteer. That goes back to our point system, right? So if you volunteer to like be active in one of our guerrilla marketing campaigns, you get extra points. So we had 2 team members dressed up. One is Easter Bunny, and the other is what was, if you know Paws, that's the Detroit Tigers mascot. Well, we jokingly called this guy Flaws, because it was like, I was a little late on getting the mascot, and it was like just a totally like abused looking tiger. It was all mashed in or whatever, but it was the only thing we could find at the last minute. We threw a Professional Movers t-shirt on. The whole family was up the night before. We were putting peanuts and business cards in little bags. And then what we did was we had a nice camera, like a professional camera, and one of our team members was the photographer. And we basically went out in front of Tiger Stadium, and we offered the opportunity for people to just take pictures with the mascots, which everyone loves mascots. Whether you're a kid or an adult, you're having a good time. It's opening day. It's already the national holiday of Detroit, basically. So everyone's in a good time. But they want their picture taken. We had a professional photographer there, or professional camera, I should say. We had one of our team members taking pictures. After you take pictures, you got a bag of peanuts. Got our business card in there, which referenced them to where the photos would be published. So later on, after the game, they got home. People would go online. They'd find the photos on our social media site. They would then share that with their friends and family on their own sites and amplified the message. It got really, really great traction. I think when it was all said and done, we spent like $800 on this campaign, which may seem high, but with what we got out of it, it is not even close to being high. We got telecasts on local news feed. We got a Canadian network and a national network all picked up and actually did like interviews with our team members out there. James will show you one that
I'll tell you what's fantastic out there right now. I found some new mascot. This is Flaws. Stepbrother. And then I guess the Easter Bunny for Vitamin Paul. So the ground's growing, and we're about to get ready to play some baseball, and the weather's cooperating. I'll be full forecast coming up.
so that
Really expensive, so yeah.
right, that's
That's
what,
PR right there.
yeah, so that was huge. So if you take that and just think about how much you'd have to spend to actually be on news, and then we actually got the the video, so we were able to promote it and share it, and something we could always utilize. So it was free media, and it was a really good way to get your brand out there. So now, like, one of the things you talked about was, or one of the things you asked about is other ideas, and now, like, having done this, we're actually in design mode of creating our own mascot, because we feel like it's a really good way to do it. I think we want to have our own investment of our own branding, so the image of a mover, not just Flaws and the Easter Bunny. So that's our next step. That's one of the things we're working on that we're excited about. This is another product. Going back to, I think when we talked about Oakland University, one of the things that got us into their incubator was you have to be a tech organization, or you have to be focused on technology. And we are. So everything I've shared with you so far is all about our moving services. But what's really cool is this guy over there on the right. It's James Crawley. He is our digital marketing master, and essentially had an idea to solve a problem that customers had come up with, which is basically a lot of consumers are online in odd hours, and they want a quick, rough ballpark of what it costs to move. They don't want the pressure. They don't want to talk. They don't want to answer a million questions. They just want, hey, what does it cost to move from here to there if I got a 1-bedroom house, a 2-bedroom house, or a 3-bedroom house? And they're not going to hold you to it. They just want to know rough numbers, because they're just up. They're thinking about it. They know that maybe they're considering a job move, right? And they just want to know, what does it cost to move? So we took all this data that we had from moving people all over the United States, and we compiled it into different groups. We created a table, created a widget, essentially, that we plugged in, and we purchased the domain movingcalculator.com. And in 30 seconds, essentially, you could put in your name, your address, your zip code. You could select whether it's a 1-bedroom house all the way up to 4 to 5 bedrooms. You could select if you want to do packing services or if you don't want any packing services. And then you hit submit. And it just literally is under 30 seconds. Boom, it gives you a price, just a rough idea. It'll send it to your email. And there's no commitment. So it's not a situation where we're actively pursuing these leads and selling people on services. It's really a research-oriented space that eventually, it could turn into something huge for us. We don't know how, we honestly don't know what we're going to do with it. I will say that we're getting a ton of traction on it. That it just organically the same way people are entering information, and it's helping us make decisions. So in that I mean that it's not just Michigan, people from Michigan that are finding the site. We got people from Ohio, California, Arizona, and we do see like hotbeds of like action. So that is stuff that we know eventually we can utilize that information and think, okay, well, if we've got a lot of traction in this market where people are moving, perhaps that's another spot in the future where we want to add a local office or a franchise. So it started off organically as like this idea, we know there's a problem, let's solve it, because we know we have the information to solve it, and let's get it out there and see how it gets used. But as an added benefit to that, James and I went to Startup Week Detroit, and when we were at Startup Week Detroit, we were standing off on the side, and there was I guess let me back it up. Startup Week Detroit is kind of a week where they have trainings basically for startups. You can meet with experts in marketing and experts in sales, and you can attend different seminars. They're all free. It's really cool.
It's a fun event.
It's a fun event. It feels very techy, right?
I spoke at the last one.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's cool, and the timing of when we launched this brand was perfect because it coincided with Startup Week, and so we both had attended Startup Week, and there was a news anchor that was down there filming a story, and we were kind of patiently waiting on the side, and she had kind of finished her conversation, and we approached and we said, hey, I don't know if you're looking for stories, but we just did a soft pitch, and we basically said, we're down here, we're launching a brand this week that coincides. If you're looking for any stories or to talk about anything that is on par with what you're here to report on, let us know. And it was like, oh, awesome, tell me about it. And she gave us like a few seconds with it. So it was just free media.
And they shut down.
This week at the inaugural Detroit Startup Week, he is passing along his best tips to new business hopefuls.
I love the fact that young people are moving to the city of Detroit. And to me, that's a real bellwether of the health of the city. There's an energy here and a spirit here that really is contagious.
Andrew Androff is one of hundreds looking to take advantage of all Startup Week has to offer, from free headshots to urban tours.
This is an awesome opportunity. We're launching our brand new brand, movingcalculator.com. It is a one-stop place where you can go online, and in 30 seconds you can get a price range for your move.
New ideas have a place to grow at the 5-day event going through Friday at the Masonic Temple.
So that was just. Oh, sorry. So that was just. That was an example of just kind of if you have brand stories that you could pitch, and if there's opportunities out there around you all the time, wherever you're at, if you see a news anchor or you see someone out there, just having the ability to approach them, it could more than likely work in your favor if you have, I guess, don't be afraid to take your shot, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is they could have easily said, no, we have no interest, and whatever, would have gone on to something else, but this worked out really well, and it ended up becoming something that really worked perfectly timed with our brand launch.
Just walking up to people there, I ended up on Chase Bank's Twitter page and their website saying, go Detroit, and talking about why you should be an entrepreneur in Detroit, probably a 10 or 15 second clip of me, Tom from Warren Systems, and then he retweeted it on my Twitter and everything else. So it was those things, like there's a lot of opportunity just showing up at these events.
That's huge, yeah, big time, yeah. So we were really fortunate, but yeah, it was just as simple as someone was standing there and we just kind of asked them, hey, would you be interested in talking about this, or and it just worked out really well. Movingestimate.com. So this is our latest brainchild. We are moving into full development of creating a software package that we can take to consumers' homes and essentially create that list that I was telling you that we write down at the beginning of the day. We're going to automate that now so that you're doing that on a tablet. Once the tablet then is filled out, it then collects all that data, and we're able to shorten the duration of time it takes for us to get you your estimate. So as before, we're writing that list down when we're inside the customer's home. We're then going back to our office and we're typing it up. And then we then email it out to the customer. Well, now we've perfected the process. We know that we want to grow. We know we want to open more offices, but we have to like streamline things. And so what we're doing is we've created this software. We're basically in beta right now, testing it out. But the idea is that we're able to shorten the amount of time it takes for us to get you your estimate. So whereas a moving consultant may have needed 2 hours to work on one estimate, or an hour and a half by the time they drive out there and actually do it, the idea now is that we're able to still go out physically survey it, but we're surveying it in the home. While we're in the home, we can hit a button, and that then gets sent to a portal where you can log in and get all of your information right there instantly. So you're no longer waiting 24 hours for your estimate. You're getting it within a few hours of us coming to your house, or a few minutes of us coming to your house. The idea with this product is that we feel that we're designing it with an actual moving company's thought process in mind. So there is other softwares out there that address the moving industry, but it's built by software engineers who don't have moving background. So what we're doing is we're taking the best of both worlds. We're combining engineering with people who actually have a moving company and have been in there and know exactly what kind of information is really relevant on a tablet and on a software package to make it good for the consumer, to make it good for the moving company. And our thought process is by setting up this foundation, we're able to take our company and grow much faster. And so we can eventually maybe license this product and sell it to other moving companies, or license it to other moving companies so they can utilize it. So we're taking what was the industry that we're in, we're finding new opportunities to modernize it. The moving industry in itself is very antiquated, so it's a fun space to be in, because even the smallest amount of innovation is pretty massive in the moving industry. So we're just looking for other ways to grow beyond just offering moving services. Rentalcrates.com. This is actually this one's really fun to talk about too. So when you move, you basically are used to cardboard boxes. It's very standard. In England, reusable packaging is the main way they move, these plastic containers. And so the idea is that instead of utilizing cardboard that often gets used once or twice and then put to your curb and then goes into the recycling bin and fill into landfills, the idea is that instead we would provide you with a plastic moving container or a group of plastic moving containers. We would drop them off to your house. You would pack them up on your own, or you could hire us to pack, sure. We'll then move you, or you can move them on your own. And then when you're all done with them, we'll come up and pick them up, and then we'll actually wash them and give them to the next customer. So we're the first and only in Detroit, actually in all of Michigan now, that actually rents these to customers, both on the residential side and the office side. And so what's cool about it is that you go to our website, it's rentalcrates.com, this is our other sister brand, and it's like a one-stop shop. Because we've taken that mentality of like what it takes to move, and we've actually combined it into knowing how many boxes you need specific for your house. So if you have a one-bedroom house or one-bedroom apartment or three-bedroom home, because we've moved so many homes, we can give you a really accurate idea how many boxes you might need. So basically what happens is you go to the website, you select a package, you select the duration of time that you want, and you can put your order in online, and in 24 hours we'll drop these off to your house. What it solves is that customer's pain point of when you're getting ready to move and you go into Home Depot and you're staring down an aisle of hundreds and hundreds of boxes and you don't know how many you need. Maybe you get too many, or maybe you get not enough and you have to go back to the store multiple times. So that's just one problem. But then you get all these boxes and you lug them to your house and you get inside your house and now you gotta start packing. And you're happy because you've brought the boxes home, but the real work is actually packing those boxes, right? So before you can start packing one box, you need to tape it up, you need to get it ready, you need to label it. So you're sweating before you even put the first amount of contents into one box. So the idea with these is that they're reusable containers, that they arrive pre-assembled, so there's no tape required. They're on wheels, so they roll around. So even when they're loaded, they are very mobile and they're very simple. They come with labels, so you can, include what you want to pack in the house. And then we take it a step further because we try to dummy-proof the process. So when you pack, the troublesome areas that our customers always have fear about, or the areas that they always want the movers to pack, are glassware. And so what we did was we created these plastic inserts that go inside. And it really doesn't matter if you've packed for like 10 years for a professional moving company or you've never packed. Everyone kind of understands the basic concept of just taking your plate and slipping it into a sleeve, right? So now you are a professional packer without ever having to take in all that time and worked on all those move jobs. And we do it, we did it with plates. And
What a great thing though to save
time.
To save a lot of stuff and having it reused.
Yeah. Oh, it's
You reuse it.
the same with glasses. So we've created the glasses, and these containers can slot out and for bigger bowls or bigger cups. We're the only, like I said, we're the only ones doing this.
What is the blue stuff made out of?
It's that corrugate that like you see like signs outside. It's become really, really popular on the West Coast. It's become extremely popular in New York. So we know that this is coming. I mean, this is, yeah, they move more, but they're like they're
Progressive societies
Uh,
where they want the recyclable.
100%. But like any.
I just moved and I wish I'm going, oh my gosh, paper, like the paper took up half the house.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Taylor, and we didn't know any of this.
Yeah, well, and most.
So we went to Home Depot and we bought all those boxes and we ran out and we had to go buy more boxes and we didn't know what size size boxes. Like everything you just described,
Yeah.
we just experienced this summer innovating an entire school and I didn't know you existed.
Well, that's awesome. That just kind of that makes me feel good to hear that, because it's like that's our whole goal. Like when we create these packages or come up with ideas like this, or it's all about solving a need in a very simplistic fashion. So like, there's 100 ways to do things, but like if you just listen to like the problem that the customer's having and try and figure out a better way to do it, a simpler way to do it, easier way to do it, like that's what's been the a key driving point of our business, and it's why I'm not afraid to share ideas about what we do and what's successful for us, because the reality is that the next idea is out there, right? So like it doesn't matter like if we talk about how we've had some success, because we know that tomorrow we're at it again, creating the next idea that's going to help propel the company. We can't. Oh, go ahead.
And the other thing is, the customer may buy some of those boxes, and then the buyer say, "Hey guys, would you come over here and do this for me?"
Yeah. No. 100%.
They may get the boxes, but then they decide, I don't know. That's a big deal.
Yeah. No. It does. It definitely feeds into professional movers. So
Yeah.
this sister brand is strong enough to stand on its own, and it's doing really well. But there's also a huge added benefit for us because, like you said, you've rent the boxes now. Oh, maybe I do need someone to pack, or maybe I just want someone to move them for me. And so we offer that full service with the capability of doing it all. And we know, like you said, it's starting to really emerge big in New York. It's big in the West Coast. So it's coming. We're probably 10 years ahead of the curve, but that's all right, because this brand doesn't have to stand alone. We don't need this to be a huge growth part of our business, but we want it to be a complementary part of the business because it does add value. So we know that we're in a strong position where in 10 years it's just going to continue to evolve. We'll continue to acquire more crates. We're looking for other ways to grow this brand out, and this is a very franchisable model, a very easy model to do. But yeah, so it's a fun brand to talk about too. So it's got so many cool benefits. So that kind of wraps up like the discussion of like some of the ideas and some of the things that we've implemented, some of the challenges that we've faced in solving customers' problems. We're very social, so if you guys don't mind, please consider liking some of our social media sites. And usually, what happens when we see that, we try to go back and like yours as well, because we want to promote each other. But this has been great, so I really appreciate you having us and share it. Anytime we get a chance to talk about our brand, it's like I can talk for moving for hours. So it's just fun to be here. So And you guys have been great.
Great ideas. You talked a lot about the kind of the visible side of your business,
Yeah.
the branding. Can you talk for just a minute on the office side, the administrative side, and also how you integrate your culture
Sure.
into all your employees, because they have to have that mindset for you
Yep.
to be successful. So can you talk about that?
Yeah. Okay. So you see in the moving side going out into the field. Now, what about like the office and administrative side? Okay. So we basically treat it the same way. So a lot of those administrative roles, those moving consultant roles, are all roles that started off as movers. So they've evolved through the business. When we find a need, if we can identify a team member that's coming up through the ranks, like someone who, like we knew there was a need for, someone in our accounting team. We had team members that were movers that were going to college for accounting. They were able to come in and fill roles within our organization. And sometimes it's a great landing point for them right out of college as well, because they get some field experience initially. They're working in a company, like, we're not massive, right? But we try to build our organization as if we are massive in terms of like the professional way that we set things up. But we're very nimble and very lean, so like we do a lot of fun things that bigger organizations can't quite, do as fluidly. So in terms of like just getting like the administrative side excited about things, every group of part of the business has its own set of incentives. So like there's incentives that they have as well that that they are trying to achieve, and it's just similar like to the moving side. So there's goals that we have internally, and if they achieve those goals, then they're recognized.
Do you have regular meetings or regular trainings to keep everyone on track
We do.
of where the end goal is?
Yeah. So on the moving side, we'll meet pretty regularly, just because if you don't meet regularly, things get out of line like really quickly. And it's amazing. Like you could set the best process, but if you're not constantly on it all the time, it's like a windy road. So you have to constantly stay on top of it. But on the administrative side, it's the same thing. We do have a lot of conversations. We have set goals by department. And the future goal with I said I was going to mention it, but I never got back to it, was that the idea is that there's a progression with our business. So like when you get to that moving consultant role or that administrative role, like where do you go next? And my goal is that with professional movers, our goal is to continue to grow and open new offices. And the people that we want to tap to open those offices are basically the ones that have come through the system all the way, and they've mastered like the branding and the modeling, and they know what we're all about. And they're the perfect people to then take on the opportunity to open the next franchise office or the next corporate office. So that's the idea, is that you never quite age out. You kind of just grow into a new role. And that was what happened in Rochester, the Rochester office. One of our move consultants, who was great, was ready to then take on his next role, and now he's managing that new office. He manages the movers over there, the move teams, the hiring, and everything else. And so it's just a matter, we're trying to duplicate and repeat the process over and over again. So in the summer, we balloon up because we bring in a lot of college students. This is obviously our busy season. So we get to just under 50. But throughout the year, like say from October through spring season, we were right around 35 to 38.
So you hit 50, tax change.
Yeah, bigger problems, right? I mean, it's one of those things that, like, yes, there's problems and there's probably benefits to it, but we're at a place where we know what we're doing right now. We're trying to master that and perfect that. When we're ready for that next jump, we'll consider it. But like right now, we're just trying to keep focused on what's working really well. So.
You mentioned you might pick up pianos and they just gift it to you.
Yeah.
Do you do the same thing with pool tables?
That would be really good, right? So I do have I have a resource that probably would. There's a gentleman that his name is Justin, and he spells his name differently than normal. It's like Juston, and I'll give you his information. He has a company, I think it's called Pro Billiards, and they basically that's what they do. They sell pool tables, and they resurface pool tables. And so often, like if you want to gift a pool table, they have a whole storage unit where they keep them. And they're good because that's what they do. Like they can refelt them, they can bring them back to life. So if you're looking for that, I can give you a good resource.
They can't get it out.
It is such a, that is like a,
You have
it's
to
a great
have it
business.
taken apart.
You have-
We had one in the basement, and they actually took it all apart to get it out.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it came in.
They're tricky. We can move them, no problem. We can take them apart, no problem. We can put them back together, no problem. The issue with pool tables is that when you pull that felt, they use like a beeswax, and sometimes it sticks and it doesn't tear apart. And so like the real knowledge and the real skill of that is, one, being able to balance it and making sure that it's level. But then two, like setting that wax and setting the felt. So it's just, it's a very niche. It's something that we don't carry enough talent that's specific to that. So we just kind of job that part out and just
I
give
think
you a
at-
good resource.
At that time, we did hire people that did that. They
Yeah.
were actual people.
Yeah, it's a great business. I mean, it really is. It's because it's unique. If you can get into a niche, and that's, I mean, a lot of our business, a lot of successful pockets of our business are just niches. You know, it's just all moving. Like senior community, we do a lot of senior community. Office moves with IT, we do a lot of that. You know, that's just different segments that like we've been able to find areas that are underserved, that we can go into that space, create a name for ourselves, and you know, kind of dominate that little niche. That's where we have found our most success.
I know you said you can hire to have it packed up. Do you hire out to unpack it too?
Yeah, we do. Unpacking, it's a whole different animal. It's tough because when you say unpacking in the moving industry, what that means is like, it's kind of terrible. It's basically, if you're moving like a long distance, and you say I want to have things unpacked, what that means is the box is opened, the stuff is taken out of the box and put on the floor. That's unpacked by moving standards. That's horrible, right? Because you're basically, okay, you've unpacked the boxes, but now you got a pile here, and a pile there. So like what we do that's very specific and catered is we do unpacking, but when we do the unpacking, it's a lot of times for the senior community that they don't have, you know, sibling or kids that could do the unpacking. So we'll actually go in, we'll take photos of, you know, the way it's set up right now, and then when we get to the new space, we'll do a real unpack, which means taking it out of the box. If the dishes need to be washed, we'll wash them before they get put away, and we'll try and set it up so that at the end of the day, when we leave their house, it feels like they've lived there for a long time. We don't get a lot of requests on, you know, from the non-senior community, but it's becoming more and more popular. It's just, but it's another niche that's underserved. So. Any other questions? Well, thank you so much for having us. I appreciate it.